Good morning, this is Grandma Becky reading for Grandma's Storytime. Today's book is The Great White Man-Eating Shark, a Cautionary Tale by Margaret Mahai. And the pictures are by Jonathan Allen. Now this is the jacket of the book. And if I can turn it, the inside is where you can get an idea what the story is about. And this one's about Norvin, who had two talents, acting and swimming. In the back part of the jacket is where you can learn more about the author and the illustrator. Now these are good tools to have if you're looking for a book, and that'll be a quick summary to tell you if it's something that you might like to read. This page tells us that the book was written or published in 1990. It also tells us the summary of the book. So if you didn't have the jacket cover of the book anymore, you could look here and see if this would be a book that you would like to read. Greedy to have the cove where he swam all to himself, Norvin, who looked a bit like a shark, pretends to be one, scaring off the other swimmers and leaving him in happy aquatic solitude until he is discovered by an amorous female shark. It also tells us that this book is fiction, which means that it's not true. If it said nonfiction there, it would mean that it was a true story. This is our title page. That pretty much tells us the same thing that was on the previous page. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have 5 grandchildren: Ashley, Cameron, Tanner, Abby, and Kenzie. And there are 2 other children that mean a great deal to us, and that is Logan and Lily. So today I'm reading this for them, and then forgive me for shaking. This is new to me, trying to read and hold a camera at the same time. Here we go. There was once a boy called Norvin who was a good actor but rather plain. In fact, he looked very like a shark. He had small, sharkish eyes, a pointed, sharkish head, and sharp, sharkish teeth. Oh, look at his teeth. He needs to go to the dentist. Unfortunately, there were not many plays written with good parts for sharks, so Norvin took up swimming instead. He soon became a good swimmer and learned to shoot through the water like a silver arrow. Oh, look at him learning to swim. How many of you know how to swim? Oh, look at the beach. That's Carmel Cove. Look at all the swimmers and all the people sunbathing and having a good time. Oh, Norvin doesn't look very happy though, does he? Norvin lived near a wonderful beach called Carmel Cove, but he had to share it with lots of other swimmers. When Norvin tried shooting through the water like a silver arrow, the other swimmers got in his way. This made him cross and resentful. He does not look happy. Oh, look what he's doing. I bet you could get a piece of cardboard and cut out a fin, paint it, maybe put it on a belt, and you could pretend you were a shark reading this story. What's the use of being able to shoot through the water like a silver arrow if everyone gets in my way, he thought. So he came up with a wicked plan. Out of plastic, he made himself the dorsal fin of a great white man-eating shark. Then he strolled around the headland, thought a few sharkish thoughts, strapped it on, and slid into the clear blue water. And what do you think he's up to? Mrs. Scorpio, who ran the bakery, was bobbing harmlessly up and down in the waves when suddenly she saw the dorsal fin of a great white man-eating shark heading straight for her. Now, if you're swimming and you see a great white man-eating shark heading straight for you, the thing to do is to leave the water in a quiet and dignified way. But Mrs. Scorpio did not know this. Does she look scared? "Shark, shark!" she yelled and flung herself onto the sand, screaming and kicking in terror. Look how scared she is. Oh, and she was scared. That made everyone else scared. What a panic there was up and down Carmel Cove. People grabbed at their children, their dogs, and inflatable canoes. Within moments, the sand was crowded with dripping bodies, and the sea was completely empty. Everyone stared disparagingly at the cruising dorsal fin. Many people thought they could just make out the shape of a great white man-eating shark cutting through the water beneath it. Norvin wore the expression a great white man-eating shark always wears when it is hungry. And his acting was so good that even when he came up to breathe, people were convinced he was actually looking for prey. That means food. It was a very hot day, but nobody dared go swimming again. Norvin had the whole of Carmel Cove to himself. He spent all afternoon shooting backwards and forwards like a silver arrow. Everyone else watched enviously, sighing, rubbing suntan lotion onto one another. No one dared to share the sea with a great white man-eating shark. At last, Norvin swam out around the headland and vanished from sight. Would you go back in? After that, everyone except Norvin was too scared to go swimming at Carmel Cove. "Norvin, come out at once!" his friends all cried. "There is a great white man-eating shark hanging around these parts." Norvin laughed. "Nonsense," he said. "It's probably only a whale shark, or even a basking shark, and they're vegetarians, you know." Norvin had the entire beach to himself for 3 whole days. However, soon a few brave people, tired of seeing Norvin shooting to and fro like a silver arrow, started swimming again. Others joined them, and soon everyone was splashing around happily once more, enjoying the swimming and the summer. But Norvin had grown used to having the beach to himself. He strolled around the headland, put on his dorsal fin, and swam back into Carmel Cove. Oh, look how ornery he is. Oh, look at this silly man. Mr. Dorsey, the plumber, was showing his little boy Courtney how to stand on his head in the water, something a plumber sometimes has to do. Suddenly he found himself nose to nose with Norvin. He did not recognize Norvin, of course. He thought he was nose to nose with a great white man-eating shark. Oh, look at that. That would be scary. If you find yourself nose to nose with a shark, the thing to do is to leave the water quietly, just as if your only thought was to rub more suntan lotion on. Mr. Dorsey did not know this. "Shark, shark," he yelled, grabbing up Courtney. He flung himself onto the sand, kicking and screaming in terror. Oh, look how scared he is. Within minutes, Norvin had the beach all to himself once more. No one dared go swimming for a week at Carmel Cove. No one except Norvin, that is. He shot to and fro like a silver arrow, while others watched longingly from the beach. Soon they could stand it no longer. A few brave people decided to take a risk, and Carmel Cove was once more splashing and bubbling with happy swimmers. Norvin, however, was becoming greedy. He wanted Carmel Cove all to himself all the time. So he strolled around the headland, put on his dorsal fin once more. Then he swam back to Carmel Cove, laughing to himself as he thought of all the terror he would cause. But suddenly he felt he was not alone. Someone was swimming beside him. Who could it be? He looked out of the corner of his eye. There, nuzzling up to him, was a great white man-eating shark, a female. Norvin was such a good actor that she did not realize he was merely pretending to be a shark. She gave him a very loving glance. "You are the shark of my dreams," she said. "Marry me at once, or I shall lose my temper and bite you." Oh no, he's really gotten himself into a fix, hasn't he? He shot like a silver arrow, dorsal fin and all, towards the beach, and flung himself on the sand where he lay kicking and screaming with terror. Everyone could see at a glance just what Norvin had been up to. The people at Carmel Cove put up a shark net across the mouth of the bay. But for the rest of the summer, Norvin sat on the beach watching other swimmers shoot backwards and forwards like silver arrows. He had had such terrible shock that, shark net or not, he was too frightened to go swimming for a long, long time. Though he was a plain boy, he had made rather a good-looking shark, and I think he was very wise not to take any dangerous chances. And that was the story of the Great White Man-Eating Shark, a cautionary tale by Margaret Mahay. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll look into this website for more books at Grandma's Storytime.